Coverage you can count on. This is WNEMTV5 News.
Right now, all eyes on the sky as we await an out-of-this-world sight. I'm Sierra Cersei with everything you need to know this morning about today's solar eclipse.
And will the forecast cooperate for this great American eclipse this afternoon? We'll talk about that and also the percentage of coverage that we see here in mid-Michigan.
Michigan-based mortgage lender now facing a federal lawsuit. I'm Blake Keller with more on the questions raised by United Wholesale Mortgage's business practices.
It's a big moneymaker across the state, and the competition is fierce.
It is obviously a $3 billion market in Michigan.
How you can decide which brand will be named Best in Grass.
It's time to wake up, mid-Michigan. It's Monday. It's April 8th.
We are hoping for clear skies today. So right now we're taking a live look. This is taking a look at Saginaw. We're hoping for clear skies for that great American solar eclipse that we've been talking about since forever.
Yeah.
So we're excited this morning.
Absolutely, and it's going to get even more exciting once we hear this first alert forecast. We got first alert meteorologist Matthew Huncho here.
Good morning, Blake here. I've got great news for you as we start off this morning. And as we go throughout the rest of Wake Up here this morning, we'll talk some more details on the eclipse. But I just want to get right underway with the fact that we will have some sunny skies for the afternoon. We did have some rain overnight, a couple of damp roads even still this morning too. But as we go into the second half of your Monday, conditions are looking very cooperative for us here. Upper 60s right near 72. It's going to be very comfortable, feeling like an early summer day as we go through this Monday. So again, we'll talk a few more details about that coming up in your full first alert forecast this morning. Just a few light scattered showers moving through mid-Michigan. Skies already starting to clear over Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo on the west side of the state. So again, more of that clearing on the way for us here in mid-Michigan. It's 49 also in Owasso, 48 in Flint. We have 46 in Midland, 45 in West Branch. So temperatures fairly mild and comfortable as we start off this morning. We're calling for a high of 70 this afternoon in Saginaw. That'll be about 18 degrees above normal. Definitely a change of gears from where we were at the same time last week. Live on time traffic sponsored by Mid-Michigan Toyota dealers, also looking very nice for us this morning. No crashes to report or delays around here or towards Flint on that morning commute this morning. If you're heading towards Lansing, Ann Arbor, or Metro Detroit, no major delays in any of those directions as well. Sir Blake, back over to you.
Matthew, thank you. Today is the great American solar eclipse, and although mid-Michigan is not in the path of totality, we will still experience a significant part of that eclipse.
Yeah, expect coverage of around 94%, with that number increasing the closer that you get to Toledo, which is in the path of totality.
The planetarium manager at the Sloan Museum in Flint says that while we may not be completely in the dark during the eclipse, we'll still get a chance to see some type of change.
It won't get dark enough to be able to see it looks like dusk or dawn. You'll be able to notice there will be a change in the light. Even though we're at 98%, 94% up in Saginaw, we still have to wear our glasses. So as you're trying to adjust to the change in brightness, one of the reasons we don't notice the change as much is because most likely we're going to have our glasses on.
The total solar eclipse will last about 4 minutes, but the entire phenomenon will last a few hours.
Longway Planetarium is also giving you the chance to see the eclipse right through their telescope. You will be able to watch NASA's live coverage of the eclipse. The event begins at noon, and for additional cost, you can also watch a special showing of Totality, which is playing every 30 minutes.
An eclipse viewing party is happening at the Midland Jack Barstow Airport. There will be crafts and activities for kids, including making pinhole projectors to safely see the eclipse. That starts at 2 today.
Meantime, millions are traveling to the path of totality, including to Indianapolis, where a viewing event is making history.
Lana Zach is in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where people have been camping out all weekend long for today's big moment.
Today, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway hosts a different history-making event, becoming what's believed to be the largest viewing site in the country for the solar eclipse.
Every IndyCar driver views this place as your kind of pseudo-home.
Alexander Rossi won the Indy 500 in 2016, but he's looking to slow down when the moon blocks out the sun.
I think I want to be somewhere that I can be alone. We should all strive to enjoy in our own individual ways.
Indianapolis is one of hundreds of cities and towns across more than a dozen states that lie within the 115-mile wide path of totality.
I think it's going to be cool.
The Thompson family drove 9 hours from Minnesota to get the full experience.
It'll be memorable because that is the unique part in which I'll say, hey, you know what, I got to see that and I know exactly where I was when I was.
And I'm actually here on the track of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the only one out here, except in a few hours I'm going to be joined by tens of thousands of people, with all of us, our faces pointed to the sky.
The eclipse speaks to me in so many ways.
Barrett Caldwell is a professor of aeronautics and astronautics at Purdue University. For him, the science of the eclipse is just one part of the event.
Spiritually, emotionally, just a meaningful experience. It's one of the most amazing things that I think is available to humanity.
For those missing out on the path of totality, the next solar eclipse to appear in the lower 48 isn't until 2044, though parts of Europe will experience one in just 2 years. Lana Zach, CBS News, Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
All right, 2044, 20 years away. Well, just a reminder for you this morning, avoid looking at the sun without the proper glasses. If you're trying to take any pictures, NASA does say that don't count on your autofocus. You'll want to actually adjust your focus and exposure manually. You may also have more luck taking pictures of the scenery that's actually around you rather than an actual close-up of the eclipse itself.
A Michigan-based mortgage lender is now facing a federal lawsuit over its business tactics. United Wholesale Mortgage, or UWM, restricting brokers from working with other lenders after making them sign an all-in agreement. So this lawsuit claims the company pressured those brokers to send their clients to UWM, which in turn pushed home buyers into expensive mortgages. UWM in a statement says the lawsuit's a sham and a hedge fund is behind the lawsuit. Hunter Brook and lawyers tried to hide that. So the company continues to say that Hunter Brook's business model is to sensationalize public information to manipulate the stock market, benefiting wealthy funders at the expense of regular investors. UWM says it'll fully defend itself from these accusations.
The U.S. says they're ready to defend themselves if Iran attacks them. That's the latest message out of Washington, since it was announced that kind of strike might actually be in the works. They believe it's inevitable that Iran will attack the U.S. or Israeli targets in the Middle East after Israel's strike on its consulate in Syria just last week. Amy Kiley now has more on worries that this response could start a regional war.
We're very concerned about a pending Iranian attack somewhere.
The U.S. will defend itself if Iran attacks an American target. That warning yesterday is from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. He says the U.S. is prepared
to defend any attack and respond swiftly if necessary.
U.S. officials predict a significant Iranian attack on American or Israeli assets in the Middle East as early as this week.
I know the president and his team are working hard to prevent escalation.
The potential danger from Iran comes after an Israeli strike on its consulate in Syria last week. Now, the Israel Defense Forces say they're preparing to deal with Iran, quote, offensively and defensively.
It doesn't make sense to keep on fighting these arms while letting Iran itself get away from it.
The Biden administration says if Iran attacks Israel directly, it almost guarantees a regional conflict.
Syria and, to same extent, Lebanon are both launching points for Iranian attacks against Israel.
Israel says it's moving into an offensive phase along its border with Lebanon. It's been exchanging fire with Iran-backed Hezbollah forces that are in that country.
Lebanese people do not want to see an expanded war because the last time Hezbollah and Israel went to war, it was really bad for the Lebanese people.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
In more local news, you can get free heart screenings from a local healthcare group. Ascension St. Mary's in Saginaw will have those screenings April 27th. You'll get on-the-spot results and a one-on-one with the doctor to review your situation. Registration begins at 7 in the morning, ends at 11. Nearly half of all U.S. adults have some type of cardiovascular disease.
A film festival is coming to Midland this week. The Banff Center Mountain Film Festival will travel to Bullock Creek Auditorium this Friday and Saturday. The event hosted by the Chippewa Nature Center every November. The center hosts a film festival and then those films go on tour. Tickets are $18. For more, you can check out the hot link section at WNEM.com.
This morning, we still have a couple of scattered showers moving through mid-Michigan, but not to worry about this rain. This will be leaving by the afternoon. We're actually still on track for some sunnier skies for the viewing of the Great American Eclipse later on today. Again, that rain this morning just providing a few damp spots on our roads. Downtown Flint looks nice. Still 48 degrees in Flint right now, too, so fairly mild starting off this morning. We'll talk more about that eclipse coming up later, but Sarah, Blake, send it back over to you.
Matthew, thank you. TV5 News Time is 6:10.
A call to volunteer in the community, why one organization says now's the great time.
All right, and country stars lit up the stage at the CMT Awards. From the biggest winners to the most memorable performances, we have a recap on the highlights.
Let's take a live look at Birch Run this Monday morning. Good morning to all of you. If you're heading out the door right now, traffic seems to be in good shape. Also, if you're headed out, you need to get gas. I'll look at your average prices there in the region. Stick around, we have much more, including one organization that's reopening with a new facility.